Adopted girl abandoned during moving day. 3 days later, new tenant discovers her amazing secret. Lily stood alone in the dusty corner of the empty house, her heart aching as the echoes of laughter and promises faded into silence. Only days before, she depacked her small suitcase, filled with dreams and hopes of a new family who would care for her. But instead, they vanished, leaving her stranded like a forgotten toy. The walls closed in around her, wrapping their cold arms tighter, making her feel small and worthless. The crumbling paint of the once vibrant living room mirrored her spirit. Chipped and faded, it felt just like her abandoned. Each creak of the old wooden floors became a twisted reminder of her isolating reality. The whispers of the wind outside danced mockingly through the shattered windows. Lily pressed her fingers against the canvas of her heart, feeling the weight of abandonment knitting itself deeper within her. But hope flickered just out of reach. Through the dim light, she caught sight of brushes and colors left over from the previous family. Drawing closer, she picked up a brush, its handle warm from the sun that leaked through the grime. She swirled the colors together, breathing life into her emotions, twisting them into shapes and images splattered across what was once a dull wall. Painting became her lifeline, each stroke an escape from despair. Vivid murals emerged from her deepest thoughts, swirling skies filled with joy, fields blooming with flowers, and hidden corners bursting with smiles. With every drop of paint, she poured out her pain, dreams, and the longing for a family. Days dragged on, and the murmurs of a new life awakened around her. But Lily remained hidden, clinging to shadows, believing someone would return. She couldn't shake the tightness in her chest, that sense of worthlessness gnawing at her insides like she was unlovable. Then Jake moved in, a recently discharged veteran carrying the weight of his own battles. He noticed the unease in the air. There was something about the house that felt haunted, not by ghosts, but by silence and despair. When he heard a faint whimper echoing from the upstairs rooms, it struck a chord deep within him. "Hello," he called, voice steady. This was not just any silence. It was a cry for help. He followed the sound, leading him to a door ajar, where he found Lily's mural, a burst of colors and feelings radiating off the walls. And there she sat, in the corner, vibrant yet broken. In that moment, their eyes locked. Jake saw a flicker of hope fighting against waves of despair in Lily's eyes. It was a feeling he understood all too well. And for Lily, the warmth of his presence ignited something deep within. Was it trust? Friendship? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. In the weeks that followed, as they shared stories of their struggles, Jake learned that Lily's art captured her emotions, the heartache of abandonment painted all over her murals, each one a glimpse into her soul. He understood that her journey had just begun and that he had to fight for her right to belong. With determination, Jake planned an exhibition to showcase her work, igniting excitement in the community, yet stirring questions in his mind. Would they embrace this brave, talented girl? Or would her story remain shrouded in prejudice? On the cusp of change, both Lily and Jake stood together, uncertain yet hopeful, ready to discover if their bond could shatter the chains of despair and create a future filled with color and acceptance. Would they leap into the unknown, hand in hand? The day of the exhibition arrived with a brilliant golden sunrise spilling through the clouds. The air felt electric, buzzing with possibilities. Jake could hardly eat breakfast, his stomach twisting in knots of anxiety. He had spent nights preparing, ensuring every detail was perfect, from the lighting to the refreshments. But more than anything, he was terrified that the world would not see the beauty he had seen in Lily's art. Lily, however, stood before the mirror, mesmerized by her reflection. She wore a simple yet bright dress that mirrored the colors of her mural's vivid yellows, blues, and greens all blended together in a joyful pattern. Today felt different. Today, she felt like she could breathe. It was as if, for the first time, she stood on the edge of something enormous. Hope, acceptance, and maybe even a family. But as her excitement built, so did the weight of her old fears. What if the community did not accept her? What if they looked at her and only saw the abandoned girl? The thought gnawed at her, tightening her chest once more. It took Jake's gentle knock on the door to pull her back from the brink of her anxiety. "Lily," he said softly, pushing the door open a crack. "Are you ready? Everyone is waiting." His warm smile calmed her insecurities. "I'm ready," she found herself whispering, her voice steadier than she felt inside. When they arrived at the gallery, the buzz of voices and laughter filled the air. Friends, neighbors, and even strangers gathered, eager to witness the transformation of the once-forgotten house. The vibrant murals adorned the walls, each telling a story of hurt, but also of resilience and hope. As Jake guided Lily through the room, she felt her heart pounding. She desperately wanted to hide, yet there was a spark of bravery within her. Suddenly, a familiar face appeared in the crowd. Michelle, the girl from the orphanage who had been Lily's best friend before everything changed. Panic coursed through her veins. Would she still remember the abandonment and whispers that haunted Lily? Would she judge her for being left behind? Jake, sensing her sudden shift, turned to her. "You're amazing, remember? Just look at what you've created." Taking a deep breath, she turned back to face Michelle. Their eyes locked, and for a heartbeat, the world around them blurred. "Lily," Michelle shouted, breaking into a wide smile, running toward her. "You did all of this? It's incredible. I'm so proud of you." Tears stung Lily's eyes. The sincerity in Michelle's voice shattered the walls of her fears. They embraced tightly, the weight of love and understanding enveloping them. In that moment, the room disappeared, and she was reminded of what it felt like to truly belong. The rest of the exhibition unfolded in a whirlwind of conversations, laughter, and occasional moments of silence where people simply stared, captivated by Lily's art. Jake watched as she blossomed, her confidence growing with every compliment thrown her way. It was as if the paintings were not just displaying color, but weaving connections between everyone who gazed upon them. But as they settled into evening, a voice cut through the warmth. A man spoke up from the back, his tone laced with a cold edge. "Who is this girl? Just some abandoned artist? What gives her the right to take our time with her tragic story?" The room fell silent. Lily's heart sank. She felt the walls close in again, the fear creeping back. But in that moment, Jake stepped forward, his body tense yet determined. "This isn't just her story. It's ours. It's a story of courage, resilience, and the power of community. Lily deserves every bit of this moment." Lily watched Jake defend her, and slowly, the hushed whispers turned to supportive murmurs. But just when it seemed like they had overcome the biggest hurdle, she noticed a figure slipping into the gallery, her adoptive parents. Will they come to tear down everything she had just begun to rebuild? Confusion and fear flooded her heart. Would this be the moment everything crumbled? Jake seemed to sense her tension. "You got this." "Lily," he whispered, squeezing her hand. She turned to face the unexpected visitors, questions swirling in her mind. This moment felt pivotal, but would it bring comfort or destruction? There was only one way to find out. Lily's heart raced as her gaze locked onto her adoptive parents. They were standing by the gallery entrance, their expressions inscrutable. A mix of dread and hope swirled inside her, each emotion fighting for dominance. She had spent so many years longing for acceptance, but now, facing them felt like standing on a precipice, unsure of what awaited her at the bottom. "Lily?" Her mother's voice broke through the din of the gallery. It was tentative, almost as if she were unsure whether the name was still hers to claim. Jake's grip on her hand tightened as he sensed her anxiety rise. "Just breathe, Lily," he encouraged softly, his eyes steady with confidence. Gathering courage, she stepped toward her parents. The gallery seemed to fade for a moment as every part of her focused on them. I'm so glad you're here, she stammered, forcing a smile, trying to mask the fear of rejection that threatened to swallow her whole. Her mother stepped forward, tears gleaming in her eyes. We're proud of you, sweetheart. We heard about the exhibition, and we just had to see it to see you. For a brief moment, hope flickered in Lily's chest. Could they actually be proud? Just then, her father stepped into the light. His expression was less open. There was a weight to his gaze, something heavy that pressed down on both of them. Why did you think you could do all of this without us? He asked, his voice grave. You left us behind, Lily. You can't just pretend like everything is okay now. The warmth Lily had felt moments earlier evaporated, leaving an icy isolation that threatened to engulf her. She had hoped they would see the girl who had grown and transformed, not the abandoned child they remembered. I didn't leave you behind, she replied, her voice breaking. I've been trying to find a way back. This art, it was my way of healing. Healing? He scoffed. Telling your sad story on our time? We came to support you, but Jake stepped in then, his voice steady but firm. This isn't just about the past. It's about who she is now. She's brave, she's talented, and she's sharing something real with us. Maybe this is what you needed to hear all along. Lily glanced over at Jake, seeing his unwavering support. It was a lifeline in a storm of uncertainty. Eyes turned to the mural behind her, the colors a powerful testament to her journey. Each stroke of paint was a scream, a lullaby, a cry for recognition. But would her parents ever understand that? Suddenly, the crowd around them tensed. Whispers broke the tension, and a small group gathered nearer, listening in. It felt like the world had become an audience to her showdown with the people she had once called family. Lily's palms grew clammy, and she felt vulnerable, exposed. She took another breath, steadying herself for the moment she had to own her truth. I want you to be part of my life, she said, her voice gathering strength. But I need you to accept who I am now, not the girl you left behind. Her mother stepped even closer, her eyes glistening with tears. We're trying, Lily. It's hard to let go of the past. But we're here. We want to be part of your future. As Lily's heart teetered between hope and despair, the murmurs from the crowd intensified. Their heads bobbed. She could feel their curiosity, their support, building around her like a protective barrier. But then, a voice piped up from the corner. Is this really your future, Lily? Is art your only escape? It was the same man from earlier, the one who had questioned her worth. What happens when the sparkle fades and the paint chips away? The air in the room thickened with his words. Lily felt their weight, but it was too late to retreat into silence now. She was standing on the edge, one foot in defiance of her past, and the other filled with uncertainty about her future. Jake squeezed her hand again, grounding her. In this moment, the stakes felt higher than ever. Would she stand tall and answer, or would the lingering shadows pull her back? Before she could process her thoughts, she was met with the gazes of everyone the supportive, the doubtful, and the familiar faces from her past. And now, more than anything, she had to decide who she would become next. Would she let fear control her like it had for so long, or would she embrace the potential of her new beginnings? The choice weighed heavily on her heart, and just when clarity began to bloom, everything shifted. As she prepared to speak again, her heart pounded with a fierce determination. What would she say, and what would it mean for her future? The weight of the moment hung in the air, begging her to take the next step. Lily inhaled sharply, the sound cutting through the murmur of the crowd like a lightning bolt. She could feel the weight of every single gaze upon her, the intensity pushing against her skin. It felt almost suffocating, the pressure to respond igniting a fire in her veins. Art is not my only escape, she finally said, voice steady as she fought to cast aside the shadows of doubt creeping in. It's the way I connect with the world. Without it, I'd be lost, hopeless. But art is my language, my heartbeat. Jake's hand remained firmly clasped around hers, a solid reminder that she wasn't alone in this moment. But her father's expression hardened further, making her heart ache. She had always craved his approval, and seeing disappointment flicker in his eyes was a bitter pill to swallow. "Isn't that just another form of running away?" he retorted, frustration lacing his voice. "You think pouring your pain onto a canvas will fix everything? Will that give you a real future? What if it all falls apart?" The crowd was silent now, hanging on her every word. She could sense a growing current of anticipation and energy shifting between them that felt electric. They had come to support her, and yet here was her father pulling her down with the weight of his disbelief. "No," she exclaimed, the passion rising within her. "It's not just about the paint. It's about finding strength in my vulnerability. It's about telling my story, showing others they're not alone in theirs. If this isn't a future worth pursuing, I don't know what is." Her mother's fingers brushed anxiously over her lips, tears spilling down her cheeks as she watched Lily stand her ground. "But why does it have to be so painful, sweetheart?" "Because healing is painful, Mom," she replied. The floodgates started to open inside her. "I'm learning to embrace my past instead of hiding it. Every brushstroke is a step forward. I thought you'd understand that." Lily's heart quickened, her words hanging heavy in the air. She thought about how far she had come, how many obstacles she had faced. The thought of giving that up, of backing down because of fear, felt unbearable. Silence filled the space, the weight of her truth crashing down on her parents. Suddenly, someone from the crowd spoke up, a woman with wild hair, sprinkled with gray. "She's right. Art has brought hope to so many of us. It's a process." A chorus of nods and murmurs arose, the collective support enveloping Lily. For the first time, she felt the universe tilt slightly in her favor. "Can't you see this is her life? Let her show you what she is capable of," Jake added, his voice fierce and protective. The sound of applause rang out, reverberating through the gallery. It was small, but powerful, a ripple that made her heart soar. She glanced at her parents, desperately searching their faces for any spark of understanding. "Please," she pleaded softly, "just let me in. Let us try to move forward together. I need you both, the real me, not the idea of our past." Her father's defenses seemed to crack, the rigidity in his posture slowly fading as he looked at her vulnerability. "It's hard to unlearn the past, Lily," he finally said, the weight of his voice betraying his emotions. "And I know that's why I need you now," she replied, "to help me figure it out together." Lily's heart pounded loudly, a syncopated rhythm of uncertainty and hope. Would they stay? Would her parents reach towards her, ready to begin a new chapter? As she awaited their response, the crowd around them began to disperse, their curious eyes starting to shift. Suddenly, the enormity of the situation grew heavier. "Lily," her father said slowly, "can we talk privately?" In that moment, everything hung in suspension. The crowd faded away to a distant hum, as if the world outside had vanished. The only thing that remained was her trembling spirit, poised between fear and a potential reunion. Could this opening transform into the bridge she had dreamed about for so long? Would it finally stitch together a family she had once thought lost forever? As she nodded, the answers danced just out of reach, and her heart raced at the possibilities waiting just beyond this moment. Lily felt her heart skip as she nodded, her body trembling with a mix of apprehension and hope. The moments stretched out, each second weighing heavily against the backdrop of quiet chatter fading around them. Her father's eyes, usually so fierce, seemed filled with something softer now, fear, perhaps, or the faintest glimmer of regret. She held her breath, waiting for him to take the next step. "Let us go outside," he finally suggested, and with that, a shiver of anticipation rocked through her. Jake squeezed her hand one last time before stepping back, giving them space. As they moved toward the gallery exit, the sudden rush of fresh air hit Lily like a wave. It was cooler out here, a stark contrast to the tension they had just left. She felt the weight of the crowd lift, but mixed in with that release was a potent anxiety. Would this be the moment everything changed? Her mother followed closely, wiping her tears on the edge of her sleeve, a flutter of hope and sorrow mixing on her face. "Listen," her father started, looking around to make sure no one else could hear them. "I need you to know that I'm not against your art. I worry. You're all grown up now, but I still see you as my little girl. I don't want you to suffer." His voice cracked, and for a split second, Lily caught a glimpse of the little girl she once was, searching for approval. She wanted to dive into that memory, to cling to it, but fears still tangled with her yearning. "I don't want to suffer either, Dad," she replied softly, keeping her eyes locked on his. "But I want to hide who I am. I need to become whole, and art is my way of doing that. I want to create, not just for myself, but for everyone who feels lost." "Can't you find another way?" he started, but quickly faltered, the words bittersweet as they trailed off. Lily glanced at her mother, whose hands clenched nervously in front of her. "Dad," she continued, her voice firm and steady, "I have to follow this path. Please, trust me." He sighed heavily, the sound like a release of years spent buried under expectations. "I just don't want you to end up disappointed. In so many ways, I failed you." That admission cut into Lily. Could he really feel that way? She had always believed their struggles revolved around her choices, her dreams not aligning with his. Now, here he was, carrying the weight of his doubts like bags slung over his shoulder. "Every time I fell, I learned something new about myself. Each failure taught me what I really want," she said, hoping to pierce through the cloud of fears hanging over them. "You didn't fail me, Dad. You helped me find the courage to face these challenges. But I need you to help me face the new ones to be there as I take these steps." Tension hung between them, electric and taut. Her mother let out a shaky breath, and Lily wished she could bridge the gap between all the hurt and unspoken words. Her father shifted, a fleeting moment of vulnerability painting his features. "What if I let go of my expectations?" he asked, voice wavering slightly. "What if I just support you instead?" The world seemed to pause. It was an offer laced with love, wrapped in uncertainty, but it was a start. "Then I suppose we could start walking this path together one step at a time," Lily replied, the warm glow of hope unfurling. They stood there, a fragile truce formed in the cool evening air, the stars beginning to twinkle above like distant dreams. But just as life felt like it might shift towards something brighter, the door to the gallery abruptly opened, and a sharply dressed man with a clipboard stepped out. He glanced around as if searching for something lost. "Excuse me, but has anyone seen Lily Chen?" he called, voice cutting through their tentative moment like a shout in an empty room. Lily's heart dropped. What could he possibly want? And what did it mean for the conversation she was just beginning with her parents? In that moment, fear clawed its way back in her stomach, threatening to unsettle the hope she had just built. As Lily turned to face the newcomer, uncertainty rushed back in a stark reminder that just when you think you're moving forward, life has a way of throwing curveballs. What was this about to reveal? Lily felt an icy grip on her heart as she stared at the man with the clipboard. His presence was an abrupt intrusion, shattering the delicate truce she had started with her parents. Everything, the air, the stars, the warmth of hope seemed to freeze in that moment. "Lily Chun?" he repeated, scanning the area with an intensity that made her skin prickle. Her father's stance shifted, protective, as he wrapped an arm around her shoulders. "Who are you?" Lily managed, her voice small against the rising swell of anxiety. "I'm Stephen, from the gallery," he said, taking a step closer, his eyes narrowing in on her with a kind of urgency. "We need to discuss your submission." "What submission?" Her mind raced, trying hard to piece together what this could possibly mean. "Your proposal for the exhibition. It's quite compelling," he said, glancing at his clipboard as if reading something vital. "We want you to have a slot in the upcoming showcase." Her breath hitched. This was big, a real opportunity that could launch her career. Yet it felt tangled in the air like a whisper of smoke. But as she stuttered, her father's grip tightened. "We can talk about this later," he interjected, but the man cut him off with a wave of his hand. "I know this might be overwhelming," Stephen continued, shooting a quick look between Lily and her parents, "but this is your chance. I just need to confirm some details and get you on board before we finalize the lineup." "What details?" Lily asked, her pulse quickening. She was teetering on the edge of excitement and fear. Was she ready for this? Your artistic vision, your inspirations, we want to ensure we're aligned before the big night, he explained, shifting his weight as if he wanted to pull her into a whirlwind. Can you give her a minute? Her father urged, his tone now a tempered mix of concern and protectiveness. Lily sensed the tension rising once again between them. This was supposed to be a moment of connection, but the urgency of Stephen's presence threatened to push them back into old patterns. I understand the hesitation, Stephen replied, holding up his hands as if to ease the growing discomfort. But the sooner we nail this down, the better. I believe you have something special, and I don't want it to slip through our fingers. At those words, Lily felt a flicker of defiance ignite within her. I need some time. I want to discuss it with my parents. This is a big deal. Stephen's expression softened, and for a moment, it felt like he understood. Of course. I'll wait by the entrance. Just don't take too long. He turned, leaving behind a charged silence in his wake. Lily's thoughts swirled as she turned back to her father and mother, who were staring at her, a mixture of pride and worry flickering across their faces. What were you saying earlier about supporting me? Lily asked, voice trembling with newfound strength. This could be the start of everything I've waited for. Her mother shifted, glancing at her father, who was silent, still lost in thought. Honey, this is exciting, but it's a lot to take in, her mother said gently. I get that, Lily shot back, frustration leaking in her words. But I need you both to believe in me. This opportunity means everything. You don't want to rush into something you're not ready for, her father finally said, his voice steady but edged with concern. I'm ready, and I need you to trust that. The air crackled with tension, and just as doubt threatened to creep back in, Lily took a deep breath, willing herself to focus on the opportunity laid before her, instead of the uncertainty that clung to the edges. As they stood there under the starlit sky, listening to the soft hum of the gallery behind them, Lily's heart began to race again, not from fear, but from the possibility of everything she had dreamed about. And then a new thought hit her, an idea that could change everything. What if we made my art a family project? She proposed, her eyes sparkling with excitement. What if you both helped me set up the showcase? It could be a way for us to bond, to show how far we've come together. Her parents exchanged glances. A spark of hope ignited in her father's eyes. But just as they began to smile, the gallery door opened again, revealing Stephen holding out a phone. Lily, the curator wants to speak with you right away, he said urgently, interrupting the moment she had just tried to create. Lily's heart pounded once more. Would this be the pivotal point that defined her future? Fresh uncertainties surged through her as she stepped forward towards Stephen, caught between what she hoped to achieve and the reality waiting for her inside. What awaited her on the other side? Would she take the risk, or turn back and embrace her family support? Lily's heart raced as she stepped up to Stephen, a whirlwind of emotions churning inside her. The world outside the starlit sky, the gentle breeze, felt miles away. She squinted at the glow of the cell phone screen in Stephen's hand, its light illuminating the path ahead, yet casting shadows over her heart. Just a moment, she said, her voice carrying a lump of nerves. She was about to reach for the phone when she paused, taking a breath to steady herself. This felt monumental, not just an art showcase, but a decision that could alter everything. Lily, you okay? Her mother called softly, concern etched in her voice. She turned to glance back, hoping to find strength in their eyes. But they were watching her with expressions caught between admiration and worry. Yes, Mom. I need to do this. She locked eyes with her father, not wanting to miss the chance to seek his approval one last time. His stern face seemed to soften, if only a bit. Go for it, kiddo, he murmured, and for the first time that night, his words felt like an embrace. With newfound courage, Lily reached for the phone. Okay, I'm ready. Please put me through. Stephen nodded, holding the phone out and pressing a button. Suddenly, the line connected, and a warm yet firm voice greeted her from the other end. Hello, Lily. This is Jamie from the curator's office. Thank you for taking the call. Thank you for this opportunity, she managed, feeling both small and larger than life all at once. I've read your proposal, Jamie continued, and Lily strained to focus on every word. It's intriguing and fresh. The board is excited by your vision. We believe you may have hit on to something truly significant. The world around her seemed to fade, replaced by her own heartbeat pounding in her ears. Really? Each word echoed in her mind. I just want to make something meaningful. Yes, and that is evident. I'd like to discuss how you envision translating that into the exhibition format. How you see this project reflecting your journey and our community. With each question, the fog of uncertainty began to lift. Lily spoke about her inspirations, about the struggles and triumphs her family's, even those in her community. Somehow, it felt like a conversation she was meant to have, one she had practiced in her mind countless times before. As she talked, the air grew charged with possibility, and for a moment she could see her work on display lights, canvases, people connecting through her art. Lily? Jamie's voice broke through the haze. Are you still with me? Yes. Sorry, I just got carried away there. Understandable. Your passion is palpable. But I must ask, how do you feel about collaborating with local artists for this showcase? It could broaden your message. Lily's heart skipped. The idea felt big and overwhelming, yet thrilling. Could her family project expand even further? She thought about her parents, potentially bridging connections, nurturing her vision as it intertwined with others. I think that sounds amazing, she exclaimed, her voice growing stronger with each passing second. That is great to hear. Let us plan a follow-up meeting to finalize details, he said, and when he hung up, the look of awe on her parents' faces radiated back to her. Did you hear that? She asked, eyes shining. They want me to collaborate with others. This could really be it. Her parents stepped closer, and there was an unspoken moment of understanding that pulsed between them. You're going to change lives, honey, her mother said, the realization dawning that this was about much more than art. Just then, a muffled voice echoed from behind the gallery doors. Stephen reappeared, hanging back slightly, scanning them with a mixture of curiosity and respect. Everything all right? He asked carefully, sensing the emotional charge in the air. Lily nodded vigorously, a beaming smile on her face. More than all right. This is just the beginning. The room filled with a lightness that dispelled the earlier tension as her parents began asking her to explain everything. But in that moment, Lily's mind buzzed. It was time for them to understand the true depth of her vision, not just the art, but the connection, the community, the hope that as they discussed and planned around her, she felt a sense of belonging she hadn't fully grasped before. But then, amid the joyous chatter, a lingering thought steeled itself in her mind. What if there was more to this journey than she and her family anticipated? Suddenly, a shadow loomed at the edge of her newfound clarity, and her thoughts raced ahead to meet it. What hidden truths about her art and herself might be waiting just beyond the surface? Lily felt the excitement crackling in the air, a new spark igniting with every passing moment. Her parents kept chatting, their voices a gentle hum of encouragement around her. But in the back of her mind, questions began to take hold. Where was she headed really? Mom, Dad, can I talk for a second? She interrupted, feeling the weight of something unsaid pressing down. Her mother paused, tilting her head with concern. Of course, sweetheart. What is on your mind? I thought I had it all figured out. She began, unsure but determined. But now that I'm getting the chance to collaborate with others, I realize I might be carrying more than just my vision. Her father studied her, his brow furrowing slightly. What do you mean? What if there's something deeper I need to explore? She took a breath, rallying her thoughts. The struggles I've faced must have shaped my art, but are there parts of my story I haven't fully embraced yet? Like the personal things that I'm afraid to share? The pieces of me that need to be out there for this project to be meaningful? They exchanged glances. You're right. Your journey is a big part of this, her mother replied softly, a hint of pride creeping into her voice. But sharing those deeper pieces can be scary. Lily confirmed, feeling the weight of her decision. I want to make something that resonates, a true reflection of what we've been through as a family and what others might be experiencing around us. I want this to be a canvas for all our stories. Just then, Stephen approached, his expression curious. What is the mood shift? You all good? Just processing everything, Lily said, her voice steady. About what this collaboration means for me. Collaboration is a two-way street, he noted thoughtfully. When you involve others, you not only share your journey, but you also invite their stories in, too. Each one adds another layer of understanding. That creates a richer experience for everyone. His words hung in the air, and Lily felt a rush of excitement mixed with apprehension. What stories could be woven into her work? What if her parents' experiences, struggles, and triumphs could truly be at the heart of it all? She turned to Stephen. What do you think I should do? Embrace it. Dive into the stories you feel are hidden, he suggested earnestly. Let your soul speak and believe in what you create. The more authentic you can be, the more it will resonate with everyone. Feeling empowered, Lily nodded, but the knot of uncertainty still tugged at her heart. And what if I open a door I'm not ready to walk through? Then you can take your time, Stephen offered reassuringly. No pressure. Just start where you're comfortable and let it unfold. Lily felt like a weight had lifted. Perhaps the truths she feared could be the very things that connected her to others. They might even serve as bond she needed to forge deeper connections with her family as well. Okay, she said finally, as determination settled in. It's time to sort through my art, my family's journey, and find the threads that make a vibrant tapestry. But she paused, a dizzying thought spiraling in her mind. What if what I find changes everything? What if some of those truths are harder than I imagined? The concern flitted through her parents' expressions, but they leaned in closer. Then we'll face it together, her mother reassured, squeezing her hand. Absolutely, her father added, his voice steady yet warm. As they stood, embraced by a newfound support, Lily felt a surge of hope. Would this journey be the key to unlocking her past and healing the scars that lingered? Hey, maybe I should gather stories from the local artists. I could ask what challenges shaped their journeys and weave them into my project, she said brightly. It could be a community exhibition, a true reflection of who we are together. Great idea. Stephen grinned, his excitement matching hers. You'll find amazing stories out there, just waiting to be told. But remember, there could be pain mixed in those stories too. Are you ready for that? Lily's chest tightened at the question. What hidden aspects of her past would she finally confront? The thought was daunting but exhilarating. As the conversation shifted back to plotting out their plans, Lily couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the beginning. She was on the cusp of change, even as a part of her feared the unknown. What shocking revelations could possibly emerge from the exploration of her own journey, and what would that mean for her art and her family? The next day, Lily woke up with a mixture of anticipation and anxiety swirling in her stomach. The sunlight streamed through her window, wrapping her in warmth as she contemplated her plan to talk to the local artists. The day felt alive with possibility, buzzing like the bees in her mom's garden. After breakfast, she grabbed her sketchbook and headed out. The fresh air hit her like a burst of energy, invigorating her spirit. She had seen flyers in the cafe about an art co-op down the street, a place where different talents mingled and shared ideas. Maybe that was the best place to start her inquiries. When she walked in, the aroma of coffee wafted through the air, and the sound of brushes on canvas danced around her. Artists of all kinds were scattered throughout the room. Some were painting, others were sculpting, while a few were deep in conversation. It felt vibrant, alive, and a little intimidating all at once. "Hey, you look fresh," a voice called out. Lily turned to see a young woman with brightly colored hair and a welcoming smile. "I'm Mia. What is your story?" "Lily," she replied, her nerves slipping a little. "I'm looking to gather stories for a community art project." "Cool. What kind of stories?" Lily took a breath, her heart racing. The struggles and journeys we face, how they shape our art, our lives. Mia's eyes sparkled with interest. "You're in the right place. Everyone here has a tale to tell. I battle my own demons, you know." Before she knew it, Lily was sitting with Mia over steaming mugs of coffee, listening to her story unfold. How she had moved away from home to pursue her art, facing rejection and insecurity. The rawness of her journey resonated deeply with Lily. "And what about you?" Mia asked, tilting her head with an inviting curiosity. Lily hesitated, her mind racing. What she opened up? Would her own struggles have the same power? "I've faced challenges too, but I'm still finding words for them." Mia nodded, encouraging. "Take your time. Sometimes the most profound pieces come from the hardest shadows." As the afternoon slipped by, Lily felt her chest lighten. Other artists chimed in, sharing their experiences and how those had led them to where they were now. The supportive atmosphere enveloped her, surrounding her with a kind of warmth she had longed for. "Have you considered sharing your family's story?" Mia asked, catching Lily off guard. "The pain and triumphs? That could really deepen your project." There was again that tugging sensation in her gut. Should she? Could she really draw from her family's experiences? The fear of unveiling her truths hovered at the edge of her thoughts. She was balancing on a tightrope between fear and possibility. As darkness began to blanket the sky, Lily stood to leave. "Thank you for today. It was don't mention it. Just remember to put your heart into it. And we'll be here when you're ready," Mia said, beaming. The evening air cooled her skin, and Lily felt something new stirring inside her, an eagerness to face what had long lingered in her own shadows. With each step home, she replayed the stories she had heard, each one pushing her own deeper in her mind. When she walked through the door, her parents were watching TV, a shared bowl of popcorn between them. They looked up and smiled, inviting her into their comfortable space. "Hey, how was the co-op?" her mom asked. "Eye-opening," Lily said, feeling the weight of her decision crashing over her. "I think it's time to dive into my story, our story. But what if it's more than I can handle?" Her parents exchanged worried glances, and the room felt heavy with unspoken fears. They were all standing on the edge of a deep ocean of emotions, and Lily could sense the waves crashing against their fragile hearts. As she settled into her seat, she knew this was just the beginning of the journey, the unveiling of layers that might be difficult to explore. What truths would rise to the surface, and would the process change the way they all saw each other? Would it strengthen their bonds or fracture them further? Lily took a deep breath and settled into the moment, the weight of her decision still lingering in the air. Her mind raced with the thoughts of all the stories she had heard, stories that mirrored her own. Underneath everything, she felt a flicker of courage growing, urging her to move forward. "Mom, Dad," she began, her voice steady yet wrapped in vulnerability. "I think I'm ready to dive into my story. But that also means opening up about everything that has happened, the struggles we face together. I want to create art that weaves our truths into something beautiful." Her mother nodded slowly, the weight of understanding hovering between them. "That could be powerful, sweetie. But have you thought about how it might feel to revisit those memories?" "I have," Lily admitted. "And it scares me, but I believe it's necessary for healing, not just for me, but for all of us." She glanced at her father, hoping to catch a glimpse of his support. "I understand," he said quietly. "It's going to take bravery to share what you've kept inside. But it's also about how we grow through those experiences together." Encouragement bloomed in her chest. "Yes, I want us to explore this as a family. We can show how art became my voice, how it connected us through the challenges." Her father's eyes softened, a hint of pride shining through the years of complicated feelings. "If this is what you need to do, we'll be here to support you." Tears stung Lily's eyes. "Thank you," she whispered, a wave of relief rushing over her. Just having their backing meant everything. In the following days, Lily threw herself into her project like a painter in a vibrant frenzy. She traced her fingers over every blank canvas and template, every possibility glimmering with the potential to heal. With every stroke, she began piecing together her family's story. She gathered old photographs, treasured memories, and the scars that had marred the moments that invoked laughter, tears, and heart-wrenching truth. Her parents joined in, sharing their reflections and experiences. They sat on the living room floor, surrounded by swaths of vibrant fabric and piles of photographs, each piece laden with their history. With every shared memory, walls between them began to crack, leaving space for understanding and warmth. But as tangible as the creativity became, shadows still loomed. There were raw emotions that stung and cut through the pleasant haze, reminding Lily how painful it could be to face the past. Lily, her mother said one evening as they huddled around a flickering candle after a particularly taxing discussion, "It's okay to feel scared. There are parts of the past that are hard to address." "I know, but I need to push through," Lily replied, resolute, her fingers clutching a paintbrush like a shield. "Art is my escape. It's how I can make sense of it all, how we can all mend our paths." As they continued working together on the exhibition, hope filled the spaces where doubt once loomed. Early nights turned into late discussions. Laughter often erupted amidst the tears. Finally, the day of the exhibition dawned, a warm Saturday that felt anticipation draped over the town like sunshine. The gallery was adorned with colorful displays, showcasing Lily's journey intertwined with her parents' reflections. The air buzzed with excitement as people trickled in, some familiar, some strangers, all eager to see the magic. Jake stood by her side, a rock amidst a sea of uncertainty. With confidence, he nudged her forward. "You're ready for this." As the crowd began to gather, a rush of nerves flooded through her. But as people began to engage with her story, Lily felt the warmth of acceptance enveloping her like a warm embrace. They laughed, and as she heard their stories bouncing off the walls, her heart sang with the realization that healing doesn't happen in isolation. With every question asked and every story shared, the gallery transformed. It wasn't just a display anymore. It had become a living testament, a connected web of emotions, each thread binding them tightly together. As the evening approached, her mother took a step up to the makeshift stage. "I never realized how much my actions impacted the way Lily saw herself. Tonight, I stand before you proud, not only of her art, but of the journey we took to reach this moment." Her father followed suit, eyes glistening. "We all carry scars in life, but through families and connections, we can find strength in our stories. Let us learn from one another." Those words lit up the room, and the crowd erupted in applause. Lily felt the warmth of belonging wash over her, melting away the years of heartache. At last, when she stood on that stage, a piece of her heart filled with joy, so intense it felt like fireworks bursting within her. "Each of our stories intertwines," she cried out, "and through this we transform together. This art isn't just mine. It resides within all of us." As the applause swelled, she glanced over to Jake, who beamed back at her, his pride shining through the fluffy crowd. Lily had finally conquered the shadows that once clutched her heart, and in embracing her journey, she found the power to uplift not only herself, but also her family, friends, and community. In that moment, as each connection solidified before her, she understood her truth. Healing and courage exist where stories collide, creating something beautiful and vibrant. Just like her Arteta, so many possibilities lay ahead. And as they shared their stories that night, she knew she would never face the darkness alone again. In this world filled with endless colors and stories, one thing was certain. For all that was lost, much had been found. Before they closed the gallery doors that night, Lily looked around at her friends, family, and everyone who showed up to embrace the art she poured her soul into. "Let us keep this movement alive," she said, her voice full of passion. "Always reach out, share your stories, and create together. This is just the beginning." And like a fresh stroke of a brush on a canvas, together they created a masterpiece of community and resilience, forever binding them in hope and belonging. Now, if you're resonating with this story, it's time to take action. You need to subscribe now to keep following these exclusive journeys. Leave a like to support the hard work that goes into sharing these powerful stories. Comment down below your thoughts and feelings about Lily's inspiring journey. Your words matter, And Dante, wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need this kind of transformation in their lives. Let us spread hope far and wide.